welcome back to One Hot Bite. Melissa here. We are taking all of these seasonal peaches that are just about ready to go out of season here, and we're going to turn them into something spectacular. We are going to make bourbon peach cobbler. This is going to come together really quick. This is a super easy recipe. I'm going to make it very simple for you so you can make it and enjoy it. I am going to be putting whipped cream with it today. I'm not going to be putting ice cream with it, but you can definitely do that as well. But we're going to use up all these beautiful peaches. I mean, bourbon, come on. You can't go wrong with a little bourbon in almost everything you're cooking. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. If you don't like bourbon, you can definitely not use it in this recipe and make it turn out delicious. So don't be afraid of that if you need to change it, but this is the road we're gonna go today. So let's get cooking. Okay, before we get too much further, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe down below. If you're new here, welcome and hello. And we are making incredible things from top to bottom every week. So let's get these started. I'm gonna make serving for 4. So I've actually cut this in half because there's only 4 of us in this house and I don't need to be having 2 servings. So we're gonna have 1 serving. So this is a serving for 4. So I have 3 cups of peaches. This is the first thing we're gonna do. I have 1/8 of a cup of sugar. We're gonna add to that. I have the 1/8 of a cup of bourbon. Again, if you don't want bourbon or alcohol in your peaches, the alcohol does cook off, but if you don't want it, just don't even use it. We have 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm gonna mix this together. Make sure everything gets coated. And then we're gonna set this aside as we make our dough. Smells delicious. All right, we're gonna set these aside and make our dough. Okay, now we're gonna make our dough. So I have here 3/4 of a cup of flour. I have 1/4 of a cup of sugar. And then in this bowl, I have a teaspoon of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, we're just gonna whisk this together. Super simple. Now I have 3/4 of a stick of butter. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tablespoons. We're gonna cut this into the dough. So I'm just gonna cut it into small pieces now. We're gonna drop it in the dough, and then we're gonna use a pastry knife. It's almost one of those don't try this at home kind of thing, but you need to try this at home. Okay. All right, so we have all our butter in. Now we're gonna cut it with a pastry knife. So if you don't have one of these, you can just crumble it with your hands. Our goal is to get it into breadcrumbs. Okay, we just want it into fine breadcrumb-like texture. Now we're gonna add, it's just a little bit, because I halved the recipe, it is just below 1/2 cup of heavy cream. We're gonna add that. Okay, you can see how we have this awesome sticky dough. Okay, our next step is I'm gonna use a cast iron this whole way through. You can use the cast iron through this point and then put it into a baking dish. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna go cast iron all the way. Forgot to mention that our oven is preheating at 375 degrees. I have my cast iron skillet. It's on medium-low heat. We're gonna go ahead and melt our remaining butter in there. So because again, I halved the recipe, this is just the remaining of that stick of butter. We're gonna go ahead and melt this guy in here. So I am using a 1-quart skillet. If you're gonna do the full recipe, which I'll have down below, is for 2 quarts. You're gonna want a bigger skillet than this. So we're gonna get our butter melting, and then we're gonna add our peach mixture that we have already put together. Okay, so now we're gonna add our peach mixture. Ooh. So we're just gonna cook this for about 5 minutes. Oh, it smells so good. Just to warm it all up. Okay, so you can see how it's starting to get thick and creamy. That cornstarch is doing its job here. So it's making it like a pie filling. I go ahead and I'm gonna taste that. Oh, so good. Okay, about tablespoonfuls, we're just gonna kind of lump this around. So I kind of like to get my hands dirty apparently. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lock these down, almost like dumplings. It's okay if there are peaches poking out, because it's just gonna puff up and create these candied peaches on top. To take a little bit of our remaining sugar, and we're just gonna sprinkle it over the top here. We're gonna take some cinnamon and do the same, just a little bit, to your liking. And then I have a little bit of extra cream left over, and I'm just gonna brush that over the top of the whole thing. Making sure I just cover everything, just lightly. We're gonna pop this in the oven, 40 to 45 minutes. And here we are, hot out of the oven. Cobblers are so amazing because they're an alternative to a pie. Anyhow, let's go ahead and cut into this guy. We're gonna create a little dish here. I mean, it smells so good. Let's give a nice good serving here. Oh, and the dough looks delicious. Let's get another dumpling on here. Looks so good. But we're gonna have to top it with some whipped cream. We can't just keep it here. I think we need a little whipped cream on here too. I don't know about you, but I think we did it again. Another hot bite from One Hot Bite peach cobbler. It's still really warm. And I'm gonna get a bite here of the peaches, of the whipped cream, of the cobbler. Wow, it's so buttery. Peaches are great. If you're afraid of the bourbon, it's not right there. It's very, very mild. And the cinnamon is so good. This is really, really, really a delicious bite. You guys have a great week. I'll see you Thursday.